Did you notice the really grating cut after the end of Perfect and Beefcake? Because that was where Roddy Piper and Bad News Brown was in the running order of the show. Yeah, there's a really odd cut, and I think you got the whole match gone, and I'm pretty sure Roddy backstage promo and a Bad News Brown promo. So that's where it happened.
I'm so glad you said that, because I would have completely missed it. Because I got to be honest, I thought, it must have been at WrestleMania 7, because I just could have swore Roddy Piper and Bad News Brown was at this one, and I wouldn't have thought any more about it until you said that. So I'm very glad that you said about that. But have you seen that match?
No, I thought I watched the wrong show. Because I went back to check the results and everything, made sure I'd watched it all, and I was like, hang on. I was like, no, don't tell me I missed it or I've watched the wrong thing. I was like, oh, right, okay. And I've never seen it.
It's interesting that they've chosen to cut out. I mean, it makes sense. It's not at all politically correct or, quite frankly, at all right. Probably even at the time, to be honest. Though there are, I would say, throughout the show, a couple of dodgy moments about with regards to race in general, and that is probably the most overtly dodgy of them all. I'm not really sure even what Piper was trying to do out of it. If he'd have completely black-faced, obviously it would have been as bad, but would have made sense is not quite the thing I'm trying to look for. But you know what I mean? Like there would have been a message there, even if it was a horrible message. Whereas half doing it just made it even. It's perplexing.
Yeah. Did he lose, Piper?
No, ends in a double count out.
Double count out, yeah.
Fuck's sake.
Yes, because that was the worst thing about that match, Matt.
Neither of those two were doing a job, were they? So yeah.
No.
Well, I was thinking. I mean, again, not that it's remotely right, but I just think at least if he lost, that's something.
Well, he was the babyface though, so whether he'd lost or won, he still wouldn't make up for it. You're portraying a certain message there, you know.
Yeah.
You're not saying oh he's got his comeuppance because he's the babyface. So you're saying.
Yeah, I assumed he was the heel, to be fair. So yeah.
Bad News Brown could not be a babyface, Matt. Come on, we've discussed Bad News Brown a couple of times on this show. Couldn't be a babyface. I'm glad you brought that up, Stephen. I would have completely blown past it and completely forgot. What do you make of the decision for them to cut it out? Because I think. I understand why, and it's definitely going to be offensive to people. But there is a part of me that feels like, look, this is the artifact of the time. You did it. I want to ensure that people are not offended by it, but at the same time, it feels like a get out of jail card. You know, oh, we can just cut it, and then people won't know about it. And I'm a bit like, people should know what you did.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I think that if we were still in the WWE Network era, my view probably the WWE Network era is to air this as it was at the time with a
disclaimer.
Probably a disclaimer at the start and a disclaimer before this segment, like a big disclaimer. But the bottom line is, I guess we're now mirroring the Peacock version, and it's NBC's call, and I think it was their call on a few of these things. And if I was chief of content at NBC, I wouldn't have this anywhere near anything with my name on it. It's just not worth the hassle. So I get it. If it's your thing, you can do it. If BBC can put on their comedies in the 70s and with questionable stuff, and it's also got a load of questionable stuff in it with a disclaimer because it's their thing and they own that. But yeah. Peacock don't.
Agree completely, Stephen. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it's just. I mean, you said with Only Fools and Horses, the first couple of seasons, for example, there are some really dodgy bits on it, and you'd have thought the BBC would be more kind of alert to it than an American network, but they've just put a disclaimer and said, look, we're presenting this in its original form. We're not hiding from the fact that this is what we did, and this was reflective of, in a mainstream sense, acceptable content. Yeah. And I feel like this should be the same here, but I do understand why they've taken it out, and I guess if it saves people from being offended by it, then all the better for it.